Hey guys, it's Russell back, and on today's episode, as part of our series on Bring That Mercedes Back from the Dead, throttle, everybody needs some throttle. I'm going to show you, I'm obviously in the garage, and the Mercedes is back in the garage after 5 years. The car almost left me stranded today. I went to the gym this morning, and I noticed when I was coming back that it was really sluggish. What it turned out to be was the throttle linkage. Let me just show you instead of trying to explain it. You're going to think this is really weird. Alright, so obviously it's the engine compartment, and here is all the mass of throttle linkage. So what happened was, is there anything that you guys see that looks weird? Well, if you said the throttle pivot bushing, you would be correct. It's supposed to be all the way in there like that. It had worked its way out, and putting the throttle on the floor made it go only about that much. I wondered why I was only be able to get 38 miles an hour going up a hill. Yep, we've got to replace the throttle pivot bushing. It looks fine from the outside, but there is a ball behind there, and it's completely deteriorated. So I'll have to show you when I actually pull it off. I don't want to pull it off yet till I get the part, because I can, if I have to move it outside, I can still, do that. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to pull each of these sockets off, and we're going to grease them with some synthetic grease, and at least get that moving a little better. This throttle linkage is really tight, other than there's a bushing over here, right there, that's loose, but pretty much everything is tight, which is really good. This engine doesn't have but 131,000, well, it's been rebuilt, but the accessories and linkage and all that only have about 131,000 miles. So we are going to take care of that. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that next. Alright, so I'm going to start taking each of these little connectors, or the ball sockets, off. I've got some grease that I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to take a Q-tip, get it into the grease, and I'm going to coat the male end, and I'm going to put some in the female end. And then just snap it back on like that. This, what I'm using, is just a metal trim removal tool. Works very well. All right, so all of our linkages, points, the ball points, have been lubricated. You should probably do this at least once a year. Just use a good high quality synthetic grease, and I believe if you do this, then you'll probably have a greatly decreased amount of wear at these points, because when they don't get lubricated they do wear. Just make sure they're all on there. They should snap. Just double check everything. Okay, so everything's good. All right, so I will do a I don't know if I'm going to do a separate video or not. I don't know, I'll decide, but we have to replace this throttle pivot here before I can really do anything else, any driving on the car. So, yep, so we'll do that next. All right, so I went ahead and popped the ball joint loose and slid the linkage rod out of the way, and I'm just going to take a 10 millimeter, and there's just 2 bolts that hold this. Oh wow. I'm going to give you guys a close-up of this. The heat has deteriorated the socket. This is supposed to be a ball right here, and as you can see it's just deteriorated away. So that could be quite dangerous if you were trying to pull out in traffic or something and this thing self-destructed. Well, it doesn't actually self-destruct. It's over a long period of time that it would do that. Wow. I've never seen one actually do that before. But anyway, so I've got to wait till Monday before I can actually get the part, and then we'll put the part in and see what happens. Alright, so here we are back, and I have this actual brand new Mercedes throttle pivot bushing, and they're about, I don't know, $60 or so. I don't even know if these are made aftermarket. They spent half the money in the packaging, you can't get it open. So as you see, I think this is like a hard urethane or durometer ball. This is what was disintegrated in mine. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this installed. Now there's actually an up and a down side to this. One side is flat and one side is more pointed, and I don't remember which way it was. Let me see if it makes sense. Alright, so after looking at this and trying it both ways, the flat spot, or the high side, goes out towards this way, and the flat spot on the outside goes it's pointing down towards the passenger compartment. So everything's in. It's real simple. 2 bolts. I grease the linkage, hook it back up. So let's start it up and see what happens. Alright guys, so I just got back from the test drive, and there's probably, I'm going to say, 40 to 50% improvement in the power because I'm getting full throttle travel. I did have to, which is unrelated to this, but I had to lower the idle a little bit. The next thing that we're going to do in the next video is, I think I've got a small vacuum leak where the 3-2 valves are on top of the valve cover, and this, one of the 3-2 valves controls EGR, and one of them controls the timing and shift of the transmission. Since this transmission is pretty much fully vacuum operated, it does not have a Bowden cable like some of the 300 turbo diesels have. So I'm going to do that in a separate video. I'm going to let the engine cool down a little bit. It's really hot. We're opening a can of worms when we do this. Now, I took my vacuum gauge and looked at the signal that I was getting from the transmission valve right before it goes into the variable control valve on top of the injection pump, and it was only about 5 inches. So I don't remember exactly what it's supposed to be, but basically that thing just mimics the vacuum curve that you would get on a gas engine. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. The pivot bushing is probably good for another 35 or 40 years. I'm glad that it didn't leave me stranded. That would have really sucked. And the part wasn't really that expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and end it. If you haven't subscribed, I'd ask that you please do so. If you do, or if you're a new subscriber, hit the little bell button next to the subscribe button, and you'll be notified as soon as I upload new content. And I will see you on the next video.